What if I told you that the most electrifying challenge in WWE history just got issued, and nobody saw it coming? Picture this: the lights dim, the crowd erupts, and standing in the center of that ring with a microphone in hand is someone who's been clawing their way through the ranks, someone who's been written off, doubted, and dismissed at every single turn. And across from him, Dominik Mysterio, the Intercontinental Champion. The man who's been hiding behind his family name, his Judgment Day brothers, and every dirty trick in the book. But on this night, there's nowhere to hide. Because Zayn just threw down the gauntlet for Elimination Chamber, and the entire wrestling world is about to witness something absolutely unforgettable. Let me take you back to where this all started, because this story isn't just about one challenge. This is about months of tension, disrespect, and a collision course that was always meant to happen. Zayn burst onto the WWE scene like lightning in a bottle. Pure athleticism, undeniable charisma, and a fire in his eyes that told you he wasn't here to make friends or take shortcuts. He was here to prove he belonged at the very top. Week after week, he delivered performances that had the WWE Universe on their feet. High-flying offense that defied gravity, technical prowess that made veterans nod in respect, and most importantly, heart. The kind of heart that makes a superstar legendary. But here's the thing about WWE: talent alone doesn't get you to the promised land. You need opportunities. You need moments. And those moments? They're controlled by champions. Champions like Dominik Mysterio, who's been wearing that Intercontinental Championship like a crown he never truly earned. Now, before the Mysterio family fans come at me, let me explain. Dominik is talented, absolutely. He's got the pedigree, the training, the legacy coursing through his veins. But ever since he turned his back on his family, joined Judgment Day, and embraced being the most hated man in WWE, he's been taking every shortcut imaginable. Rhea Ripley causing distractions, Finn Balor pulling referees out of the ring, Damian Priest running interference, and don't even get me started on the low blows, eye pokes, and outside interference that's plagued every single title defense. The Intercontinental Championship used to mean something. It was the workhorse title. The championship that guys like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Randy Savage, and Eddie Guerrero held with pride. They defended it with honor. They made it prestigious. Dominik? He's been treating it like a prop in Judgment Day's twisted game. And the WWE Universe has been hungry, absolutely starving for someone to step up and take that title from around his waist, to restore its glory, to make it mean something again. Enter Zayn. 3 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw, Zayn defeated Chad Gable in a match that had the entire arena shaking. The athleticism on display was off the charts. These two put on an absolute clinic, chain wrestling at its finest, reversals upon reversals, near falls that had everyone believing either man could win. But it was Zayn who got his hand raised, and as he stood there, exhausted, sweat pouring down his face, soaking in the cheers from 20,000 people, you could see it in his eyes. This wasn't enough. Victories are great, but championships are forever. The very next week, Zayn found himself in a #1 contenders battle royal. 20 superstars, 1 ring, and the promise of a championship opportunity hanging in the balance. The action was chaotic, bodies flying over the top rope left and right, alliances forming and crumbling within seconds. And when the dust settled, when it came down to the final two, it was Zayn and the veteran Sheamus going toe-to-toe. The Celtic warrior threw everything at him. Brogue kicks, brutal strikes that would have knocked out a normal man, but Zayn weathered the storm. He ducked a final brogue kick attempt, countered with a super kick that echoed through the arena, and sent Sheamus tumbling over the top rope to the floor below. The place exploded. Zayn had done it. He'd earned his shot. But here's where things got interesting, where the story took a dark and personal turn. As Zayn was celebrating with the fans, his music blaring through the speakers, Dominik Mysterio walked out onto the stage. Not to congratulate him. Not to show any respect. He stood there with that smug, arrogant smirk plastered across his face, the Intercontinental Championship draped over his shoulder, and he laughed. He actually laughed at Zayn. He grabbed a microphone and said the words that would light the fuse on this powder keg. You think you deserve a shot at my title? You're nothing but another name on the list of people I'm going to embarrass. The disrespect was palpable. You could feel it through the screen. And Zayn? He didn't flinch. He didn't look away. He stared directly at Dominik and mouthed the words, "Elimination Chamber." The implication was clear. Not just a match. Not just any match. But Elimination Chamber, one of the most brutal, unforgiving structures in WWE history. A match where careers are made and broken, where legends are born and dreams are shattered. Fast forward to this past Monday Night Raw, and we got the moment that's been replaying across social media, trending worldwide, dissected by every wrestling fan and analyst on the planet. The show opened with Dominik in the ring, flanked by Judgment Day, soaking in the booze, reveling in the hatred. He was running down Zayn, calling him inexperienced, saying he didn't have what it takes to compete at the championship level, claiming that Zayn would choke under the pressure just like everyone else who'd challenged him. And then the music hit. Zayn's theme erupted through the sound system, and the roof nearly came off the building. He walked down that ramp with purpose, with determination etched into every step. He slid into the ring, and security had to create a barrier because these two men wanted to tear each other apart right then and there. But Zayn didn't come to fight, not yet. He came to make it official. He grabbed a microphone, looked Dominik dead in the eyes, and delivered a promo that will go down in history. "Dominik, you've been running your mouth for months. You've been disrespecting this title, this business, and everyone who came before you. You hide behind Judgment Day, you hide behind interference, you hide behind excuses. But at Elimination Chamber, there's nowhere to hide. Those steel chains, those unforgiving pods, that cold metal floor? That becomes our world. And in that world, Dominik, I'm going to expose you for exactly what you are, a coward playing dress-up as a champion. I'm challenging you, Dominik Mysterio, for the Intercontinental Championship at Elimination Chamber, and when I walk out with that title, it won't just be a victory. It'll be justice." The crowd lost their minds. Chants of yes, yes, yes shook the arena. Even members of the roster were shown backstage nodding their heads, respecting the call-out. But Dominik? He tried to play it cool, tried to laugh it off, but you could see the crack in his armor. You could see the flicker of doubt cross his face before he masked it with bravado. He accepted the challenge, of course, because refusing would make him look weak. But he added a stipulation, because Dominik Mysterio can never do anything straight up. He demanded that if Zayn loses, he goes to the back of the line. No more title opportunities for a year. The stakes just got even higher. Triple H came out to make it official, signed the contract right there in the ring, and just like that, the match was set. Zayn vs. Dominik Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship at Elimination Chamber. But here's where this story gets even more layered, even more compelling. This isn't just about two men fighting over a championship. This is about legacy, about respect, about what it means to be a champion in WWE. Zayn represents every wrestler who's had to fight for every single opportunity, who's been told they're not ready, who's had to prove themselves night after night without the benefit of a famous last name or a powerful faction watching their back. He's the embodiment of hunger, of drive, of refusing to be denied. Every interview he's done since the challenge has been focused, intense, almost poetic in the way he describes what this opportunity means. He talks about the Intercontinental Championship as a symbol, as a bridge between proving you belong and becoming immortal. He talks about the responsibility of carrying that title, of defending it with honor, of making every match a statement. Dominik, on the other hand, represents privilege and wasted potential twisted into arrogance. He's everything wrong with entitlement in professional wrestling. Yes, he has the skills. Yes, he can go in the ring. But he's taken the easy path at every turn. He's let Judgment Day do his dirty work. He's celebrated victories that felt hollow because everyone knew he didn't truly win them on his own. And the worst part? He doesn't seem to care. He wears the hatred like armor, feeds off the booze, and genuinely believes he's outsmarting everyone by taking shortcuts. The build to Elimination Chamber has been must-see television. WWE has been masterfully layering in confrontations, mind games, and physical altercations that have escalated week by week. 2 weeks ago, Zayn cost Judgment Day a tag team match by attacking Dominik at ringside, sending a message that the numbers game wouldn't save him. Last week, Judgment Day jumped Zayn in the parking lot, 4-on-1, beating him down and leaving him laying as a message that they control the narrative. But Zayn keeps getting back up. That's what makes him special. That's what has the WWE Universe rallying behind him. Every time he gets knocked down, he rises with more fire, more determination. He's been cutting promos that give you chills, talking about what Elimination Chamber represents to him, about how he studied every classic chamber match, how he understands the brutality that awaits, and how he's ready to walk through hell itself to claim what's rightfully his. The interviews with both men have revealed so much about their mindsets. Zayn talks about his family, about growing up watching WWE, about dreaming of this exact moment. He gets emotional when discussing what it would mean to win the Intercontinental Championship, how it would validate every sacrifice, every injury, every moment of doubt. He's fighting for something bigger than himself. He's fighting for everyone who's ever been told they weren't good enough. Dominik's interviews are a stark contrast. He's cocky, dismissive, constantly referring to himself as the greatest Intercontinental Champion of this generation. He mocks Zayn's emotion, calls it weakness, says that sentimentality doesn't win championships. He promises to embarrass Zayn on the biggest stage, to prove that all the hype was just that, hype. He says Judgment Day will be watching his back, which only further proves he can't stand on his own 2 feet. The WWE Universe has made their choice abundantly clear. Arenas have been erupting with Zayn chants during matches, during promos, during commercial breaks. Social media is flooded with fan art, highlight videos, fantasy booking scenarios. The overwhelming sentiment is that it's time, that Zayn's moment has arrived, that Dominik's reign of terror needs to end. But wrestling has taught us that what should happen and what does happen aren't always the same thing. Elimination Chamber as a match structure adds an entirely different dimension to this story. For those who might not know, Elimination Chamber is diabolical. A massive steel structure surrounds the ring, 16 feet high, enclosing everything in unforgiving metal. 4 giant pods are positioned around the ring, and in a traditional chamber match, superstars are locked inside those pods until it's their time to enter. The floor outside the ring isn't padding, it's steel grating that tears flesh and breaks bones. Chain link walls that can be used as weapons, that can trap you, that can become your worst nightmare. Now, reports are that this will be a singles match inside the chamber, just Zayn and Dominik, which somehow makes it even more intense. No pods to hide in, no waiting for others to be eliminated. Just 2 men, locked inside a steel cage from hell, fighting for championship gold. The stipulation prevents Judgment Day from interfering, which is exactly what Zayn needs. A level playing field. Just his skill, his heart, and his determination against Dominik's cunning, experience, and desperation to hold onto his title. The video packages WWE has produced have been cinematic masterpieces. Slow-motion footage of Zayn's greatest moments intercut with Dominik's most controversial title defenses. Voiceovers about destiny, about proving doubters wrong, about championships defining careers. The production team has nailed the big fight feel, making this match feel as important as a world championship bout, because in many ways, it is. Wrestling legends have been weighing in. Former Intercontinental Champions have been asked their predictions, and the responses have been fascinating. Some point to Zayn's momentum and hunger. Others warn about underestimating Dominik, about how he always finds a way to retain even when the odds seem impossible. Edge, who has a storied history in Elimination Chamber matches, said in an interview that the structure favors the brave, those willing to take risks, which would seem to give Zayn the advantage. But he also cautioned that Dominik has shown a survival instinct that shouldn't be dismissed. The go-home episode of Raw before Elimination Chamber delivered one final explosive confrontation. Zayn and Dominik had a contract signing segment that descended into absolute chaos. Words were exchanged, threats were made, and when Dominik tried to attack Zayn with the championship belt, Zayn caught his arm, ripped the title from his hands, and held it high above his head as the crowd roared their approval. The image of Zayn standing tall, holding the championship while Dominik looked on in fury, has become iconic before the match has even happened. So here we are. Elimination Chamber is days away. The anticipation is at a fever pitch. Predictions are flying, debates are raging, and the wrestling world is holding its collective breath. Will Zayn complete his incredible journey and capture the Intercontinental Championship, cementing his status as a main event player and restoring prestige to the title? Or will Dominik Mysterio prove all his critics wrong, retain his championship, and solidify his claim as one of the most effective champions in recent memory, regardless of how he gets the job done? The beauty of this story is that it feels real. It feels earned. We've watched Zayn's rise. We've witnessed Dominik's descent into villainy. We've seen the pieces fall into place, and now we get to see them collide in one of the most unforgiving environments in WWE. No matter what happens, this match will be talked about for years. If Zayn wins, it's a coronation, a passing of the torch, a defining moment in a career that's just beginning to reach its peak. If Dominik retains, it adds another layer to his controversial reign and sets up even more compelling stories down the line. But deep down, if I'm being completely honest, if I'm speaking from my heart as a wrestling fan who loves this business and loves when the stars align perfectly, I believe this is Zayn's time. I believe we're about to witness something special. The journey has been too perfect, the story too well crafted, the moment too big for it to end any other way. Zayn is going to walk into that steel structure as a challenger and walk out as the Intercontinental Champion, and when he does, when that referee's hand hits 3 and the bell rings, it's going to be one of the most satisfying moments in recent WWE history. The Elimination Chamber awaits. The challenge has been issued and accepted. Zayn vs. Dominik Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. A clash of styles, of philosophies, of destinies. One man fights for glory and respect. The other fights to maintain power and prove his doubters wrong. Only one can walk out with the gold. If this story has you as hyped as I am, if you're counting down the days until Elimination Chamber, if you believe in Zayn's journey and want to see him succeed, show some love by hitting that like button. Drop a comment and tell me your prediction. Is Zayn capturing the Intercontinental Championship, or does Dominik find a way to retain? And if you want to stay updated on all the latest WWE news, breakdowns, and analysis right here on Wrestling Impact, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on because we're covering every moment of this incredible story. The countdown to Elimination Chamber is on, and we're about to witness history. This is Wrestling Impact, and I'll see you in the next one.